Hello, Stud Muffin 1986 here. Welcome back to the channel and back to World of Tanks Blitz. I'd been getting some comments, some questions, just asking me out of curiosity. Stud Muffin, what would you think is the most OP tank in the game? Some said the Chinese Tier 8 tank destroyer, the premium one, WZ, the T6 Dracula. And so I started combing through data of just a lot of tanks, and I've got a lot of them, and I've purchased a lot of them, and it came down to this one, the Otsu, the Tier 3 premium Japanese tank. This thing is absolutely crazy. Now, I'm going to give you some of my reasoning on why I believe this thing is the most overpowered in the game. Just look at these stats. This thing is just ridiculous. I mean, the average DPM of a Tier 3 tank is around 800. This thing has over 19, this is about 2,000 DPM. It is absolutely crazy. The DPM is absolutely broken. When coming across tanks, they don't even stand a chance. You just literally eat them alive, and their screen is just flashing red the whole time. It is just crazy. Now, I do have this tank. Surprisingly, it hasn't been in the store for a long time, but I do have this tank. I have a couple replays. And it was not hard getting a mastery. I mean, granted, not a lot of players play this, but everything else about the tank, not bad. It's okay. It's got, good camo. Its maneuverability is okay. Everything else is, not bad, but the DPM of this thing is just absolutely broken. So we'll just go into a couple replays here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. This is just based on data I had done trying to go through a lot of tanks, and I would definitely have to say, out of all the tanks in the game, if you were to compare them across like tiers, the Japanese Tier 3 Premium Otsu, in my opinion, after my research, is hands down the most overpowered tank in the game. So let's go into some replays. Okay, guys, I'm just going to be showing you here just how crazily overpowered this thing is. This thing just eats other Tier 3 tanks alive. It is crazy, the DPM coming across other tanks. Everyone just seems to be shooting so slow compared to this thing. It's just so funny because when you start getting in just the brawl, just like in the center of everything with all the tanks, and you just hear everyone else shooting their cannons, it just sounds so slow. But then when you just either hear this thing or you just start shooting it, this thing is like a machine gun compared to what others have. It is just absolutely crazy. I mean, I'm just coming in here. Other tanks just don't even stand a chance. I know that my armor isn't the greatest, but it doesn't even matter. You get yourself really in front of so many of these tanks, and they can't even do anything against you. So, I mean, just really getting in the thicket of it. This thing is a really fun tank to play with. And, I mean, the other thing, though, too, is that there's not very many experienced players, if any, that really even play Tier 3, let alone even care, I think, to play low tiers anymore, especially after update 5.5. And, I mean, if you want a good way to boost your confidence, this tank, the Otsu, really does it. Now, unfortunately, the sad thing about this tank is that it is no longer, I believe, is no longer going to be in stores again. I don't think it's ever going to be released again. The funny thing is, this tank has been broken for so long And I believe Wargaming has come out and said that they don't even care to fix it. There's not enough players that play the tank. There are players that have it, but they don't have. It's not on the game enough to really do anything about it. And this thing, I think it was just in the early days of Blitz, unfortunately, that it was last seen in the store. I've had this tank, I think, from the time it first came out, and the only reason why I purchased it, I had no idea. It was way back in the day, before I even was looking at anything like stats. I was just more of a tank collector. I just was trying to get them all. It was during the time it was much easier, and that's all I wanted. I mean, easy mastery. Nobody really even plays this thing, but this thing is so overpowered. I mean, the other thing that's just so funny about this thing is you get at tier 3, when you start doing, I think it's around 500 damage, you start seeing your damage indicator on your screen as purple, showing that, hey, you're doing an excellent job. And then, like, not even that much further after that, I think once you hit like 600, maybe 700 damage, the thing turns, your damage indicator shows gold or yellow, whichever one you call it. And I mean, even look at this thing. That thing didn't even stand a chance. That thing is the same tier as me, and I just didn't even stand a chance. And I'm just kind of going out here, just sticking myself out. I know I'm being like a little bit too like woohoo here with my armor and just taking hits, but it doesn't even matter. Like, I don't even know if even anyone playing these games with me right now or even aware of what this thing is capable of. They probably just see this thing as like just a normal, tier 3 tank. I haven't seen that one before. And then the next thing they know, their screen is just flashing red constantly until all their hit points are just gone, and then they're just absolutely obliterated. So it is just really, really funny. Like, you can't help but just laugh when play this thing, because it's the damage output on this is insane. I mean, like I had said, like about 2,000 DPM for a tier 3 is just crazy. Also, considering that most on average their DPM at tier 3 is only around like 800. So this was my choice. Like I said, I went through a lot of tanks in the game. I've purchased a lot of tanks. I have a ton of tanks. I went through a lot of different tanks that I thought were OP and really tried to do some thorough research and to figure out, okay, which one would I definitely say is the most overpowered in the game. And granted, there were a lot of tanks that were definitely up there that I would easily say are overpowered, like the Chinese tier 8 WZ premium tank destroyer. that thing's overpowered. And there's definitely others, but after my research and narrowing it down, looking at stats, this was it. So anyway, Stud Muffin 1986 here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay cool and keep tanking.